Hey, what's up, guys? So this is going to be a little lesson on, why I should follow my rules. So this was a level that I was looking for on this stock in particular. There was a floor down here. Obviously, I was looking at like a micro floor under here. This is the first stock that I traded. Um, Today. I was looking for at least 340 for my trade. My idea for the trade was this. Actually, I'm gonna pop that up really fast. It's trade. PALI. Oops. All right, so the reason I was looking for a long on this trade is because it had 1.4 million float. It had 7% was short float, and then it's got 21% institutional ownership. It's also got cash. It does have 17 gap stats. 10 of them do close red, but like really, I mean, that's a 58% chance that it's going to close red. And for me, that I saw in a few different rooms that people were talking about the stock, and I was like, well, another thing to look at is the stats down here. It gap and crap here, pop and fell looks like slight gap and extension, gap and extension, gap and extension, gap and crap, huge gap and extension, and another gap and extension. And so in my mind, the way that I trade gap and extensions is anything that goes above pre-market high is a gap and extension. So I was at least looking for this thing, or hoping that the plan was that I would be looking for it to break over this. I want to see how much volume, how strong it was. This yellow line is also my second target. The white line is my first target. And so when all this stuff is like right together, I think my third target was down here, like just like right around this structure right here. And so I was like, you know what? It's all together. Usually, or not usually. Like I have noticed that when this happens, that there will be a squeeze. But I took the long here at 280s, I guess. Obviously in hindsight, this thing topped out at like 330s. That's a pretty good run up, but I don't know. I want at least 340 to trim off a little piece. Or what I want to do was start adding into my position, and because I had really small size right here. I didn't get there. I thought that I lowered my stop to break even, my range order. I put my range order in wrong, and so where I should have got stopped out in the money, I doubled my size, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And so then when I realized, I instantly cut it, and it didn't work. But I mean that was my thought process behind the trade. It didn't work. Okay, like no problem. Who gives a shit? I didn't go back. I didn't trade it. I didn't give any other opportunities. I didn't feel like shorting a stock, which I felt like, once again, this is the floor for me, or at least a floor structure. I'm not trying to short underneath this really, because for me, I mean, obviously ideal situations is going to go down to 150, but like another structure is right here, and so it's like, okay, so what am I going to do? Am I going to short down here around 260s and cover at 240s? For me, that's not what I'm really looking for. Plus this white line right here, this is my final target. And so like I said, when I had my final target, my third target, my second target, my first target all together, I was really hoping that this thing just ripped, and I was going to add into my position, and once again it didn't work. But then I had a opportunity on LAES, which I'm going to pop up over here. Actually, it's right there. Let me remove this. So, LAES, it's technically a day two, so it's a 50-50 whether it closed green or red. It's got 26 million float, 8% short float, 4% institutional ownership, no SSR. It did have cash, but if you look at this, gap and crap, gap and extension, small gap and extension, basically pop and fell, major gap and crap, and another pretty decent gap and crap. So I'm looking for, well, I guess that's not really valid because I guess that is day one stats. So never mind, scratch that. But I was looking for this thing. Actually, here, I'll go back over to here. So this was day one back over here, right? So this is the ceiling, which it pretty much held. It stayed above the entire day, right? So ideally, what I wanted something like down around like the dollar is kind of what I was looking for. I didn't know. I thought that if it cracked this, that it was really going to go down. This really sucked right here, and I'll kind of go over that here in a second. But that was kind of my thought process. It's like, okay, it's above the ceiling, so if it's above the ceiling, it's going to turn into a floor. It's forming a new ceiling up here, but like the problem is that's a 40-cent range. It's really not a lot. And so what I was hoping for is if it did respect this $2 level, which it did today, I was hoping that it'd crack under 160, and if it cracked under 160, I was hoping it was going to be a hard crack and be looking for unwind down to $1, because this thing is up from roughly like 40 cents. I remember everyone saying that this had good news or whatever, but I was hoping for more of an unwind. I did not get that, and this is what I got. So, found a topping, and I did take the initial trade right here, right? It's forming a topping right here, but the problem was when I realized that I shorted, and it was my first target's roughly like 10 to 15 cents below. I was like, that's not enough. Like what I want my first target to be roughly 30 cents away, at least. I would prefer it even more than 30 cents. But on these lower price stocks, which is kind of what I'm kind of finding my niche into, that's not going to happen. So 25, 30 cents. That's not bad, but like 10, 15 cents, I'm not looking for that. So I instantly cut it off. It popped up here. I thought I was going to go over $2. It had a pretty quick slam down. I took the trade. This is where I messed up though, and this is why I also implement this rule, right? So I took this trade at $1.98. My target's down here at 70 or $1.70 or below $1.70. I initially tried to cover half here, and then I canceled my order. I was like, you know what? I think that this is gonna. I got greedy. Honestly, I got greedy. I was like, dude, I think this is like, it just blew off a ungodly amount of volume, and it's trapped up in here. It's gonna fade down. I got a bias, and I didn't cover half, which is my rule. My rule is to cover half here and to cover half here, because I'm only trading with like 400 shares right now, and because I pretty much beat down my account a little bit, and I want to have a smaller size and just rebuild my account slowly and just get back to stop being so damn greedy. And it it sucked. And so today I canceled my order, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna set our range orders for 150, which is crazy to me because wait, no, I guess I might have just been just barely over. What was the low of day actually? I wonder if it shows me on here. What was the low of day? I mean, yeah, it shows that it went through 150. So like, I don't know why I didn't get covered, but I did get filled, and which really sucked because when I finally started looking at it, the stock was like, I think it was up in here, and I was just like, dude, I was like, so I lured my stop to break even or just in the money. I think my entry was like 98. I had my cover like 90. Yeah, 90. It wasn't working, but then I started seeing this consolidation, and I was just like, man, I think it's gonna rip. And sure as shit, it did. And then this is where things got bad because if I would have just covered half here and half here, I would have been done for the day. And like, yeah, it wouldn't have been anything to brag about. But at the end of the day, like, it's still good money, and like, I need to be grateful for small amounts of money, and that's also why I'm trading with smaller sizes. Because if you can't be grateful making like $100 to $150, $200 a day, what the hell makes you feel like you're going to be grateful making $1,000 a day? And so for me, that's just what I prefer to do, or what I'm doing right now. But this is where things got screwed up. So after this happened, I shorted again with 400 shares, popped up. I got faked out. I shorted again on this little stuff, and I got filled. It went down. It bounced back up, and it's hitting my level for if this is a gap and extension, how I would trade like a lower high setup. And so what I did was I located another 400 shares, and I got in with 400 more shares. Then I stopped at break even. I entered again. I entered on weakness. It faked me out. It came back up. I stopped out where my initial entry was, so I'm down 1R because I'm down half size, which is really my full size. So I'm down. At this point, I'm down 1, 2, 3R. Then this thing pops up here. I can't remember if I. It does look like I entered. So I'm in like full size, and then I take basically a 2R trade here because I'm in way too big a size. And so I end down like whatever that is, like 4 or 5R. Which is ridiculous. It never should have been like this, and that's why I implemented. People can trade however they want to, but this is why I made my system this way. Because even when I'm trading with bigger size, I cover half in my first target. Because the second I cover half, I lower my stop to break even. And when I'm trading with bigger size, like say 2,000 shares, I take 1,000 shares from $2 to $70. That's $300. All right, cool. I just covered $300, and then my stop goes to break even. If I get more money than $300, great. But like for me, that's all I need. If I can average $300 a day, I'm making a good year. And so for me, that's why I implemented this rule. But because I went down to smaller size, I'm not implementing this. And where I'm not following my rules, I'm not being disciplined the way that I should be, and it's cost me because really, like, I think that I was down, with this trade and my my other trade that I scratched on. I think I was still up like $100 if I would have covered, the way that I was supposed to, and. Dude, $100, like, that shit adds up. And it's like, that's the biggest problem I have with this, is like, I'm being just stupid greedy, and it bothers the hell out of me. And so really, I think that I'm going to just stay with I feel like I kind of need to like come back down to earth a little bit and like calm down because I don't know. It's very easy, especially like with trading stocks, to just kind of I don't know, like let yourself get sucked into the money and all this shit. And really, at the end of the day, like all I got into trading for at the very beginning of my career was to make $150 a day. That's it. That's all I wanted. That dude 6 years ago would be absolutely disgusted in me today, like, well, with my trading because it's like, yeah, I would have made 150, but I would have made $100. I mean, that's pretty damn close to my initial setting out goal. But it's like, once you start getting over like the bigger paydays, I, it's like you're always chasing it, and you start getting into this rut of I don't know, like wanting to throw that out there and be flashy and stuff. And so I think that honestly, I think that I'm really going to just try to figure out how to. I don't know how long I'm going to stay at 400 shares, but I really feel like right now in my career, I really need to kind of go back to that because it's crazy to me. If you can't make money with 400 shares, like you're gonna make bad decisions with bigger share size. I could make more money, and like I know that if I would use bigger shares, I would have followed my rules 100%, and then yeah, I would have had a big payday. But the problem is the not having the discipline, regardless of the share size that you get in with. You create a system to keep you safe, and when you don't follow that system, this is what happens. And so that's what, like, hopefully you guys, any of you guys that watch this, that's what I really need to get back to. Is like, just, dude, like, you get your entry, beautiful. Who gives a shit? You cover a half at your first target, half my second target. I want to stay doing that for quite a while, unless I start seeing. It'd be stupid if, like, at the end of the day, like for instance, if this thing faded all the way down to $1. And then, over the course of, like, say, a week or 2 weeks, like, there every day I'm on here, I'm like, dude, this thing just faded all the way down. Like, okay, well, hey, now you need to adapt because that's also stupid. Like, just leaving money on the table. But this thing literally just stayed in a channel all day, just ripping people's faces off. And, really, it's like, between 95 cents and $2, and then down here like roughly 60 cents. So it's just up and down, 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 up. It's just chop, just straight chop. And like, I don't know, like okay, this would have been, my system would have been great, like, because really if I short here, even if I was here still, right? Short, cover, be done. Really, this in here, I'm not looking to trade this because anybody that knows me and how I think about things is this is no man's land. You don't do shit in you're asking to get your ass kicked in no man's land. But what I could have done is I could have traded up in here again, later on in the day if I saw a good point. But like, okay, say I was back here. Okay, cool. Say I don't even get the best tippy top entry, which is another problem of mine. I always try to get the top, right, the very very top. Okay, get a lower high, dude. Okay, so I get in at $90.95. I cover half here at $1.85. That's only 10 cents. Like, see, like that right there, that wouldn't even have been worth it to me because really, for me to trade over here at $1.95, I need my first target down here at like $1.65. Like, I want it down here, and so for me, this wouldn't have been worth it. This is worth it because the EMAs have not caught up with the stock. Right now, it's just in a consolidation period, and I'm not. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something to shoot straight up and goes back down. and not something that just goes ziggy zaggy. So, anyways, this is a much longer video than I planned on doing, but I'm gonna try to start doing more of these, and hopefully you guys like them. If you do, like, subscribe, share. That'd be awesome. I'd like to grow this channel, and really, I'm hoping that I can add value to people and help people on their journey. I was trying to build a school community, but I'm giving up on that because it was very disheartening to have 100 students and only 5 of them actually did anything. So I'm hoping that maybe I can add value to people on here. If you guys want any extra help, message me or leave a comment or whatever. But hope you guys all traded well. Hope you guys follow your system, and I will be back again for another future video.